Okay, I hope the clip resonated a little bit with you. Any thoughts over the lunch break? Sometimes when you go away, like ideas and thoughts coming to mind? Did it resonate? I realized as well the presenter spoke very quickly. So the link is as well online. So if you want to watch it again maybe and have a look at the criteria that he's listing, then you can slow him down or stop him. And this is a wonderful thing with the podcast. What were the things that resonated with you from that talk?
Probably quite negative barriers for ourselves first.
Why is that?
Human nature.
In what way?
I think we put ourselves down, put ourselves down, praise ourselves. I think a lot of people in the workplace do that.
Yeah, and so what is a danger here for us in a project team?
Starting off as a negative to the project suffers because we've got a negative outlook.
Yes. So the analogy, oh yeah, please.
It's just like the moving goalposts, wasn't it? It was, you never kind of reward, you just always sort of say, right, what's next?
Yeah.
Never looking back to see what you've achieved. It's kind of
Yes, this is a huge danger, and he's in reality, this guy is actually quite popular with large management consultancies and consortiums where he presents, and he praises for teams that work in high-performing environments that you can't just use a stick. Yeah, and setting performance bars, you have said it. Yeah, you just kind of have achieved your aim, and then your manager says like, oh well, we nearly achieved that, let's see if we can improve. And the mark is a kilometer further away, yeah, and off you go, you start again, and you haven't even recognized that you did actually achieve it. Yeah, so I suppose it's an analogy, it's a terrible analogy, but it's how do you move a donkey? It's either with a carrot or a stick, yeah, and if your management tools all fall in the category of stick, yeah, you're consistently being evaluated, that you again haven't achieved your work, you have to work harder, then it creates quite quickly a culture where you feel probably quite miserable, yeah, where what your main recognition of the project becomes is maybe negatively associated. So it depends as well a little bit how we as manager use the tools. Yeah, that was a bad analogy, but I hope you're with me on that. Yeah.
You start to see also, again, we have increased levels of sickness, stress.
Absolutely.
So staff are finding it difficult to cope with the workload and the way the management are always pushing.
Yes, spot on. Yeah, so the stress levels itself, we have that in a project. This is often it's as well a motivation tool. But if it becomes negatively associated, then the more stress and feeling that you can't achieve it anymore is like a deterrent. Yeah, so it takes you apart, and you may stagnate. You feel it's unachievable, it's impossible, and you may actually stop doing what you were doing before. Whereas if you have maybe similar stress, but you see that you can make it, it can be a very strong motivator. Yeah, and here it depends really how you as well, potentially as a project manager, kind of filter this in a way to keep it proactive. They're very difficult, easy to say for me in a summary format, yeah, but very difficult to figure out with your team. So there's certainly some trial and error involved.
I suppose that explains some site stuff as well, really. I suppose if you talk to a site manager, he tends to give you the things that have gone wrong first. If you see how's the job going, he'll give you the things that have gone wrong first because there's always a consequence to it. So it's drilled into him that there's a consequence to things going wrong. That's what he thinks about. He doesn't go out, he doesn't tell you the things that have gone right first until you ask him. So I suppose that's drained into you when you work in that environment. There's costs involved and delays.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, in fact, the analogy should be when getting appraisals for a shit sandwich, isn't it? You get the good, the bad, and the good and the good.
Yeah.
So what I was saying about human nature, isn't it? If you ask somebody how was your holiday, oh, it was good, but the flight was delayed, this was wrong, that was wrong, and the hotel wasn't very good. We all seem to just throw out negatives.
It's not a British, is it not just British?
I think it's because they watch too much EastEnders.
This is an important question. Yeah, is it a cultural thing? You know, are there some cultures? How is it in your organizations, for example? Have you the same experience? Is it similar or is it different? Or what do you think? In Germany, for example, or as well France or Italy? Actually, I pick here on all the European countries, but sadly that is a friend circle from my parents. They were as well now over Christmas in a place where we met, somewhere near Morocco. And it was interesting. For me it was exciting. I had it with other things, and our Italian friends complained actually pretty much the list that you had. Delayed flights, then there were some other issues, and the weather was not as they expected, so that they were in a lose-lose situation there. But yeah, so how do you view that? Or is it similar? What do you think?
Yeah, it's kind of similar though.
Yeah.
And I want to relate it to like academics. You know,
Yeah.
you could like go to school, do like 7 subjects, and you have like the extension in 2, and you have like credits in like 6, and let's say, yeah, that's 8 overall. And your parent comes and they say, this is a bad result. Now they don't tend to see the ones you had the extension, they tend to foresee the credits you have got. And they kind of forget that you actually try getting the extension into. So it's just like, I think it's just like the human psychology, the thinking that can pass on from generation to generation. But over time, some parents have come to realize that when criticizing, you criticize constructively, and you can now go on to say, okay, instead of just focusing on the failure, you just encourage, okay, you could actually do better. Or let me see why you got credits in these courses. Is it that you don't like physics? Is it that you don't like chemistry? That's just how it works.
So it's a similar bias, yeah. It goes first kind of criticizing what didn't work to the potential, versus focusing as well that some were actually a lot better than expected. Yeah. So there seems to be a little bit human nature, but it's as well a little bit the communication format. Yeah, I won't do the joke at that point. But there's as well something about communication. So it's a lot easier to, if you feel that you have not received the full package or what you were expecting or hoping to get, then you will be maybe likely, depending on the culture, to complain about that or to at least be unhappy about it. Whereas when you receive more, you may just recognize that something, oh, maybe I shouldn't have got that, maybe that was too much. So there is this a whole spectrum where it can go into feeling like, oh, maybe I was over-rewarded, or maybe that was just luck. But there is as well a communication barrier. Yeah? So there are different finite elements that you may fight with here culturally. Okay? But super observations, thank you very much. I have as well kind of managing changing workplaces. This is really from the handbook. I just wanted to bring a few out. Our work environment is as well kind of shifting around with a lot of shifting ideas, concepts, perspectives, how we view the world. And we have started as well going in the workplace to refine and individualize work, whereas in the past that wasn't done so much. So we see that, for example, nowadays with mergers, companies swapping assets, yeah, or working in a partnership, and suddenly your team is, you had a working culture which worked fine, you have developed wonderful products, and suddenly you have to work with a different work culture that has very different norms and expectations and formats of communicating, which may be a big troubling thing initially. So mixing different workplace cultures, moving maybe into new marketplaces, dealing with the new and unrehearsed, maybe new clients that you get, or new supply chain members that want to work with you, that have a very different platform of working with you. Another one, breaking down old ways of doing business, fresh starts, yeah, so it may become not feasible to do business in the way you used to. There are ways of doing business in networks, where you look as well after your networks, you make sure everybody gets business. This goes under a level where it's perceived as corruption, where you don't actually allow business access. This is a historic form of how still many countries do business, or many markets kind of define business, but we have there a shift, so you have to comply to certain formats, and that may change the way you do business. Then as well, management of staff development. So nowadays we have you too. You will be a knowledge worker, believe it or not, but that will be the title that you will appear in statistics as. And it has to do with not so much the company you're working for, but we are interested in your career, what you make with your degree. Are you happy? Do you work in the position where you should be working? Do you get the resources that you should have as a project manager? So there's this one individualized focus, which has a lot to do with staff development, and you will be as well accountable for the team around you to give feedback. Then keeping pace with your competitors, staying ahead of your competitors, fear of being left behind, maybe. So products may go in a different direction, and you have to decide which route to go. And more recently as well, learning organizations. I have a few more. That is really just to get you started a little bit. Interesting one is as well procurement and methodologies in total. Actually putting maybe your business at risk depending on how it's constructed. So we saw that actually a lot more recently with supply chains. Some of the supply chains actually going bust and having a knock-on effect. And again, the notion of declining marketplace, how do you keep staff on board? There's as well this flexibility. So multinationals do that already. It's not a problem if the economy is not so well in one country. You just focus efforts and support services on other economies that are actually on the rise. But this is not always a possibility. So you have there as well a conflicting nature maybe of where you are. I had as well additional kind of comments that try to address that in a sense of indicating that you have to basically look out to be aware of those things. But before we do this, I have a small exercise for you, and I want you in 2 teams, and I have a task for one team. So for one team, so ignore that for now. I want you in 2 teams, and they should be slightly homogeneous and slightly diverse. Now we can do it we can do it by university work. This is always a little bit dangerous. Maybe we do it by university work. Who has? Oh, this is ambiguous. I will lose here anyway. Who has been longer than 5 years in a work environment? This is any work environment. So we could do 3 groups. That would work too. Okay, no, we do it just like that. I'm sorry to do this. This is a little bit corrupted, this setting, but you can work in one team. Can you come all around the table? And you have to work as well in one team. You all come as well. So you have to half the table in the middle. This is really right. Maybe all around there. Okay, so what we will do is you can start thinking about your work environment that you have. Wait, can you as well join them? You may bring the you may bring dynamics in that we kind of want to explore. So this is a cultural experiment to a degree. So can you come up with kind of ways of doing certain things that are very particular about your workplace and agree on a list? So first of all, write down what is very typical for the workplace that you're in or that you have worked in, maybe unique, outstanding. understanding that kind of struck you when you started, and then list it and then agree on a list on that. Said okay, and I'll come back in a second to tell you a story that we have to agree on. Okay. It's a classical drama from Greece. This is like a story with 2,000 years ago. I spiced it up a little bit now to make it more modern now. Yeah, it's a drama. So it's a very sad drama.
System we use to get
I want you to agree a list on all the people in the story. Who's the worst to who's the least worst. They're all a little bit bad. Yeah, but you will have to agree on this. Yeah, so you want you can first write them all down and agree on them, and then you can make write down for yourself what you want, and then agree it in a team. So then you have to present
We do a lot of our stuff based on past experience, so it's worked to stick with it, which is a bit probably because trying to get someone who tries something different like is an issue. Yeah.
This is a key objective.
Past experience and success.
We do change what shit is fine, don't we?
Okay, I get a shirt too.
Yeah, or there's a market some change that you've got to change.
External.
Okay. Same questions. Oh.
Okay. No, because I just thought that we have to mention the story, but okay.
Oh no, sorry.
Okay.
So it's a classical drama. It's a little bit more modern.
We do change.
So I have changed
Change off your back.
but visually it's very, very sad.
Yeah.
So there was once a young couple.
Which is the opposite of what you were saying earlier, which is the same thing. When it worked well, we continue to do it.
And it was
I mean,
one bridge. And
I suppose if we what we would generally talk about like this, then it's just like, shall we have a go at this, and someone actually went, I've done it, it's not even. Well, so we maybe never get to try it again.
So do we do things, the way we do things like that, is he looking for that, or is he looking for like, we have that, and then we have.
No, I think it's more the culture.
Cultural leads to action.
Very data driven. I mean, education's like that.
Yes, it really starts.
It's all very much based on.
So it's the same. You're basing it on
benchmarking
against
other
past.
other organisations, national benchmarks, and against other. I don't know if you get emails. We get emails all the time talking about what other colleges got in Ofsted. All the time we get that. I don't read them, but we always get management emails coming to us saying what other colleges got in Ofsted.
So again, so it's based on what competition.
He was, as a matter of fact,
What was that?
from school, and he went by the name of
Would you change or will you do something based on if
Management sometimes.
Simone.
the way someone else is doing it? Will you change?
Yeah,
They just want figures. They don't care.
they'll go, oh, this
You were my
thing is being done by
I
someone.
bring you over, no problem.
Jump on the bandwagon without actually
Now
having a thing. Yeah.
Simone and
Yeah, unfortunately, they're not bothered with this.
I'm off. And she went away to on the ferry and comes back home.
And then the scary thing here is, when we come to the industry, we find out what's ready for work. So we send it to you, he wants someone who's ready to start working.
Doing this course for
Mother steps aside and says, Simone, you are old enough. You have to make your own decisions.
Because it then, I'm looking for the two years to get
Simone is still desperate.
No,
Not understand.
masters.
In her desperate moment, she runs back to the ferry and
Some
says,
kids in there, and I'm building over there, now doing the honestly, but I'll teach them level 3 in May.
Lucid last year. It's just some of the stuff we've got there. It's like that's level 3 stuff.
And if they came, the HNC,
sprints
in September,
finally fall into
because it could be in September.
and after the first night, he opens and so comes
Kids go drawing different
house.
from May
And
to September.
in her excitement, she tells him how she had felt
These are the benchmark
and how she had
things.
went through these dramatic
So-
moments and makes his way to
Is it democratic or autocratic?
surprise hearing all about it. She has
Ours is sliding a little bit towards a little bit more democratic.
How would you know?
Born with principles and how he's born directors and seeing things. 1980 over 100, what he actually thought about before he gave it to me.
He's got his ideas, he wants them anyway, regardless of the meaning.
We have a 42 before, but sometimes the guy in charge will see excellent. I think what we'll do is
Frequency of ideas, he knows what he wants
so
to do.
it's that idea of like this is open for everyone, you know.
So he,
But in the end we're going to do mine.
yeah. So he feels good, but he knows he's going to get his one way anyway. So it's like a false
So yeah, it's a bit of
it
it has the feelings of you know.
Yeah.
democracy was still necessary.
Basically leaves the house, closes the door, and doesn't want to see Ahmed anymore.
And that's probably to do with just the fact that it's sort of seen like everyone's inputs rather than
That's a narrative.
It's an it's a
questions.
I've listened to everyone.
And again, there'll be some people at work who want it that way.
None of this means it's bad necessarily.
That's what I was saying before, and there's some folks there just going to crack on with the job, they're not interested in it.
Because everyone's saying the same there, it's kind of management led, the decisions are still management led.
Okay, I'm asking of the worst and the
Worst to the least worst. Maybe if you can agree, who was the best?
Okay.
It's just complex one. They all have probably a little bit of opinions. But yes, did you have a conclusion we had? How many people do we have?
5.
Yeah. Okay. Happy discussing? I
Well,
hope that was agreeing.
It is, if you change the system, we don't like it. It's like they're doing things not growth.
Probably going to take that time for the younger managers, with a different view.
Yeah, and that's a good point for the council, because there's a lot of
So
council,
that
council,
the worst
that means we've got apprentices that we teach, and it is very much, you know, that system is just, that's the way it is.
Regardless of you could say what you
Okay, yeah, I'm going to get that the firing was bad.
It's always
But I
bad.
agree that the firing was worse.
Okay, Rachel, final thoughts down. We are now in for a slightly different task to familiarize ourselves with a challenge in having different expectations, norms, when you are in a team and you have to collaborate. So this is a classic drama that has quickly shortened and adapted a little bit, made it a little bit more modern as well. It's a drama, yeah, so it's Greek classical drama, so it's pretty horrendous. But the idea is you have to rank basically all the people in the narrative in terms of who's the worst, who's the least worst. Now you may want to do that first for yourself and then agree one list, but you have to come together with one list that you are happy to defend. Yeah,
It sounds very negative, it's worse than least worst. Say the best and the worst. Not so
there
good.
is no best, you know. It's in a drama, especially the Greek ones, or where Russian ones, it's normally quite grim and dark. So there's
who's the characters that was sort of looking.
oh yeah, sorry. Here's the narrative. Did you have any other questions? Otherwise, I would just go with the story.
So we got worst.
Yeah, it's five
This
characters.
Okay.
Yeah, five characters.
Like, for example, some guy the same kind of a level of work
Okay.
as the other guy.
Once upon a time, there was a young couple that went by the name of Amy and
So we can do the firing.
oh, now I've improvised.
We can
No, but it's that, you know, so it's a drama. So I want to we go with Alex. Alex with you, yeah. So Angie and Alex were deeply in love, and they had been so for quite some time. And they actually were so much in love that they intended to marry very soon.
She's like the
Yeah, and as it turned out, there's in two different cities connected by a very large bridge. One bridge only, and the water was renowned for the strong currents and well, very big mountain river, quite wide. And as it happened, a huge storm hit the two cities and the bridge and destroyed the whole bridge.
Yeah, exactly.
So Angie and Alex, sorry, and Alex were devastated. They couldn't see each other. There was no easy way of getting on the other side without putting your whole life in a threat of drowning. So that went for 4 days, and there was no outlook on a quick bridge repair or any easy transport over. So Alex arrived at the point where he had enough. He felt he could not live without seeing Angie anymore. So he decided to go on a run along the river further upstream to look on a way of crossing the river to finally hold her Angie, his Angie again. As it happened up the river, he found a ferryman, ferrywoman, sorry, and captain of a ferry, sorry. And as it turned out, the captain of this ferry was his old classmate, Hannah. And first being surprised, what was I doing? I run the ferry business. Good to see you. What brings you here? And he is like, oh, I'm in such despair. I cannot see my dear Angie, and I need to get to the other side of the river. And Hannah sees the opportunity and says, you know what, Alex, it's not a problem, I'll bring you over. But we were in school.
Yeah, maybe
you were always my favorite since we went to school. I give you that one chance if you speak with me in exchange. I will bring you to the other side and back again without any cost.
Who's the bad
Alex is troubling. Alex is troubling. Oh, Hannah, how can you do this? This is disgusting. And he runs back home. And at home he sends his struggle. I cannot see Angie again. And it's a scenario where they get
It's like a cultural wise.
You are old enough, you have to make your own decisions. Do your decision yourself. I have to make your decision. Now, Alex is still troubled, and he decides to do it. So he goes back to Hannah and sleeps with Hannah, and Hannah brings him over to the other side. And Alex springs to the city and finally is in the arms of Angie. And in the excitement, tells all about the way how he managed to see her back again. Now, Angie in disgust is like, how could you do this to me? Do you not see this, our relationship holy in any way? And she throws him out and basically sends him home. And in despair, he walks back to the ferry and then goes back home and is back in the city. At the same time,
again.
Just legal again. I get back on. No, of course. But Angie sits as well at home, absolutely destroyed. Cannot believe how this could happen to her. Now her friend Angelica comes around, and Angelica is really troubled. Hey, why are you so happy? You're full of life and stuff. And she tells her all about the story, and Angelica after half the story of her, do you not see what Alex has gone through, and smacks her in the face? And Angelica basically quits a friendship with Angie, basically finds the door closed behind her, and leaves Angie behind. That's the drama goes a little bit further. Some people die in the Greek one, but for our kind of purpose, it's for our purpose we have all the characters that we need. Did you have all the characters? How many characters do you have? Yeah. Okay, good. Like in a Greek.
It's both drive and the same for
Did you have any questions?
I think would be another reaction by another also, which was kind of good, but so they are kind of Everybody the same language.
Whose name is the worst?
Everybody the same language. Listen to me. Follow your heart, so the cheese. And since
She's looking for, she's got
It's quite easy. She heard me so.
I thought mine is the best guy.
Yeah.
How would you I don't feel fear, I want something first.